Iran's new missile hit Netanyahu's secret bunker in Israel. If you've seen that claim, it probably came with a dramatic caption, a grainy explosion clip, and a confident tone that makes it feel confirmed. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Stories like this are built to travel faster than they can be verified, and the word doing most of the work is secret. Because once you say secret bunker, you've created a perfect information trap. If there's no proof, people say it's secret. If there is proof, people say it's covered up. Either way, the claim survives. So in this video, I'm going to do the opposite of what viral posts do. I'm going to separate what's actually been reported from what's being claimed, explain what hit can mean in missile warfare versus what people imagine it means, and break down the one thing you should watch for if you want to know whether this story is real or just another narrative grenade. And I'll give you the payoff early so you don't have to wait. Even if Iran launched a new missile type, and even if targets in Israel were struck, that does not automatically mean a Netanyahu bunker was hit. Right now, the strongest publicly available evidence for this specific bunker claim is mostly claims, not verified confirmation. Now let's walk through what's actually driving this rumor. It didn't appear in a vacuum. There has been an intense wave of missile attacks and interceptions in the region, real casualties, real strikes on Israeli cities, and a constant stream of breaking news. In that environment, a single dramatic narrative can spread like wildfire. And the bunker hit narrative is powerful for one reason. It attacks the idea of control. Because if a leader's bunker can be hit, people start thinking nothing is safe, no defenses matter, and the war has entered a new phase. That's why the claim is being pushed so hard. Now, step one, what is the claim actually saying? Most versions say some variation of this. Iran unveiled a new missile. That missile penetrated Israeli defenses, and it struck Netanyahu's secret bunker, sometimes near his office, sometimes near a command center, sometimes a hidden facility under a building. And you'll notice something. The location is always vague. Vague enough to sound plausible, vague enough to avoid verification. Now, step two, what is actually being reported by more mainstream or verifiable sources? From what's publicly circulating in more established reporting, Iran's Revolutionary Guard has claimed to have fired advanced missiles at high-value Israeli government and military targets, including references to Netanyahu's office in some reporting of Iranian statements. But Israel, on its side, has publicly dismissed claims that Netanyahu's office was hit in at least one wave of these reports, describing those claims as false. So already we have a split. Iran says it hit high-value government targets. Israel says no, it didn't hit that. And the internet, of course, takes the most dramatic version and calls it confirmed. Now here's the key lesson. In wartime, claims are part of the battlefield. A claim can be true, exaggerated, partially true, or strategically framed. And the fastest way to get misled is to treat a claim like a confirmed outcome. So here's the framework. 3 buckets: confirmed, claimed, sold. Confirmed is what multiple credible sources converge on over time, with consistent details. Claimed is what one side asserts, often for psychological impact. Sold is the emotional conclusion attached to it. Netanyahu almost died. Israel is defenseless. The bunker is compromised. Leadership is collapsing. Most of what you're seeing is in the claimed and sold buckets. Now, let's talk about the phrase new missile, because that's another hook. When people hear new missile, their brain imagines a sci-fi leap, like Israel's defenses are suddenly obsolete. But missile warfare doesn't work like that. New missiles don't create instant dominance by magic. What they can do is increase the probability of something getting through by speed, trajectory, maneuvering, decoys, saturation, or simply by being launched in the right mix with other threats. And that brings us to the part nobody wants to admit. Even the best air defense is probabilistic. It's not a force field. It's a system that tries to detect, track, classify, prioritize, and intercept. And when the sky is crowded enough, the chance of leakage rises. That doesn't mean leadership bunkers are easy to hit. It means in a high-tempo environment, some impacts can occur. Now, here's where the bunker narrative gets slippery, because hit the bunker can mean three very different things. 1. A missile hit the actual hardened underground facility. 2. A missile hit somewhere near a suspected location and people assumed it was the bunker. 3. A missile hit an above ground building associated with government, and the story mutated into secret bunker destroyed. These are very different events, but online, they all get called the same thing: bunker hit. Now, what about the secret bunker itself? Here's the reality: Israel has hardened sites, command centers, and secure facilities. Some are public knowledge in general terms, many are not. Security for senior leaders includes hardened locations and movement protocols, but precisely because these locations are sensitive, they are the hardest claims to verify publicly. You rarely get an official press release that says, "Yes, our bunker at this address was hit." So if you're looking for proof, you have to look for the kind of evidence that can't be faked by captions, independent imagery that matches the claim. Multiple reputable outlets independently confirming the same location, observable follow on behavior, emergency closures, visible heavy security posture changes, sudden unexplained disruption to leadership schedules. And here's the reality: most viral bunker claims don't come with those things. They come with recycled videos, old clips, video game footage, or explosions from unrelated events. In fact, there's a long track record of viral clips being falsely described as Netanyahu fleeing to a bunker or his office being hit, and multiple fact checks over the last couple years have debunked those exact kinds of videos as old or unrelated. So when you see a new clip today with the same vibes, the burden of proof is on the claim, not on your skepticism. Now, let's talk about why this story is being pushed now. Because it's not only about military impact, it's about psychological impact. If Iran can convince people it hit leadership sites, it gains a perception win. It pressures Israeli decision makers. It unsettles civilians. It energizes supporters. And it forces the other side to respond to a narrative, not just a strike. On the other side, Israel benefits from denying it, because admitting a leadership site hit can create fear, confusion, and political fallout. So both sides have incentives to frame the same event differently. That's not conspiracy, that's wartime messaging. Now, let's make this extremely simple. If Iran actually hit Netanyahu's bunker, we would expect at least one of these to become visible over time, a consistent, named confirmation by multiple major outlets, not just Iranian channels. A clear geolocated impact site that matches the claim, not just a generic explosion clip. A measurable disruption to Israeli leadership operations that can't be explained by ordinary security precautions during wartime. If none of those appear, then what you're looking at is most likely an information operation riding on the chaos of real attacks. Now I want to address a question you might be thinking. What if the truth is hidden on purpose? Could the bunker be hit and we never know? In theory, yes, some details may remain classified, but here's the important part. Even when details are classified, reality leaks through behavior. Behavior is harder to hide than statements. If a truly critical secure site were compromised, you'd expect changes, movement patterns, communications posture, visible security shifts, possibly disruptions that journalists can track even without being told why. That's why behavior is your best signal. Now, I'm going to give you the single biggest mistake people make with a story like this. They treat "it sounds plausible" as "it's true." And in war, plausible is cheap. Anyone can say secret bunker and new missile and unthinkable breach. That's exactly why those words are chosen. So here's the rule: if the claim hinges on secrecy, your verification standard has to go up, not down. Now let's zoom out and ask the deeper question. Even if this bunker claim is exaggerated, what is the real takeaway? The real takeaway is that the conflict is intense enough that both sides are fighting for two victories at once: physical victory, hits, intercepts, damage; psychological victory, fear, confidence, perception of control. And psychological victory spreads through claims like this. because even an unverified story can change how people feel, and how people feel changes how leaders are pressured. That's why these narratives matter. Now let's land this with a clean, responsible conclusion. Right now, what we can responsibly say is this: Iran has claimed strikes on high value Israeli government related targets in recent waves, and some reporting has repeated those claims. Israel has denied at least some of the specific Netanyahu location hit narratives as false. The Netanyahu secret bunker claim is largely circulating as a viral storyline without stable, independent confirmation in the public record, so don't let a dramatic caption decide your reality. Track convergence, track behavior, track whether credible reporting stabilizes around one confirmed location and mechanism, because the first version of these stories is almost always the loudest version, and the loudest version is rarely the most accurate. Now I want your take. Do you think stories like Secret Bunker Hit spread because people are scared and want certainty, or because wartime misinformation is now a deliberate weapon designed to force emotional reactions before facts can catch up?